A secretary at Lincoln Middle School in Portland is calling for the resignation of the school's district's superintendent. Nico Wales says Dr. Ryan Scallon completely botched the aftermath of a high-profile incident that involved a teacher last fall and should either step down or be removed because of it. Sharon Rose has the story.
The incident happened last October when Lincoln's health and gym teacher, who also served as the school's athletic director, got into an altercation with several students from another school at a Lincoln soccer game. The administration initially wanted to fire Jamal Murph, but after a public hearing held 5 months later that resulted in a huge outpouring of public support for Murph, the superintendent and school board decided to keep him on leave for the rest of the school year, but bring him back this coming fall.
From beginning to end, there's so many things that are wrong about this.
Lincoln Head Secretary Nico Wales says he's not happy with the way the administration handled Mr. Murph's case, in his opinion, rushing to judgment and not holding the students involved accountable. But he says it's the way the administration ignored the needs of the entire Lincoln school community during Murph's sudden absence that really has him riled up.
The first 6 weeks can best be described as a black hole of information. They just pulled our athletic director and gave no additional thought as to what would happen next. The parents were never informed of what was going on. We had no lesson plans. They pulled him and provided no assistance, which caused 400 kids to not receive any state-mandated health or wellness instruction.
Wales says the first few weeks were a mad scramble to find subs for Murph's classes, with no idea why he was gone or how long his absence would drag on.
Mr. Murph had more classes every day than any other staff member. He had 6 classes. He only had lunch off.
Wales says he had to plug in 30 different staff and subs over the course of a month. And with no lesson plans, health and wellness basically turned into open gym and chaos. This woman, who did not want us to show her face, took over as a dedicated sub for Murph's classes about 6 weeks after he was suspended.
And so up to that point, it had just been piecemeal people filling in.
Yes, ma'am.
And not a lot of structure.
None.
Were you given any structure?
No.
She says using her experience as a coach, she was eventually able to get a handle on things and give the kids some meaningful physical wellness instruction. But Mr. Murph's health classes fell completely by the wayside.
Now, I know what some of you are thinking. It's health and wellness class. In the grand scheme of things, is it really that big of a deal? Well, apparently the state thinks so, as it is mandated curriculum for all middle schools in Maine. And when you think about the social climate our kids are growing up in these days and how volatile those middle school years can be, suddenly the information covered in health class may seem a little more important.
Mental health awareness, depression, stigma, bullying.
Wales says he began emailing Superintendent Scallon and members of the school board about the situation in mid-January, but was either ignored, given the runaround, or even met with anger. To make matters worse, when it became clear that Murph would not be coming back for the current school year, a clerical error at the central office made it appear in the system that a long-term sub had been hired for the position, when in fact nobody had, setting back efforts to reestablish meaningful instruction even further. All the while, according to Wales, not telling parents anything about what was going on.
They had the principal send a letter to families on March 7th, letting them know that we have a new long-term sub, which was great, but it made no mention whatsoever of the fact that during that time, there was it was open gym. There was no instruction.
In Portland, Sharon Rose, News Center, Maine.
Now, Dr. Scallon declined our repeated attempts to interview him for this story, opting instead to have the district's communications director send us an email. In that email, it stated that providing physical wellness instruction to students was a priority, that a long-term sub has now been hired, and that additional programming will be offered next year to make up for the gap. You can read that statement in its entirety, along with a response from Mr. Wales, by going to our website and mobile app.